Hello everyone, and welcome to Board on a Shelf. It has been a while, but I'm finally back, and I want to share with you some sad news, maybe, but still good news, I think, because the hobby is all about getting rid of games. So I'm getting rid of some games that I love, some that I didn't love. Some games just didn't hit the table as much as I would have liked them to, so they're getting the boot. But I'm just going to go over them really quickly with you guys, because I know that I like to know if games are leaving people's collections, why they're leaving, just because it helps me get an idea if I'll have the same issues. So I hope you get something out of this. I know I get something out of videos like this, so I'm just going to get right to it and try and go as fast as I can, because there are 24 games to get through. So we're just going to start. Alright, so first up, we have Vaalbara, which I am very sad to get rid of because I do like this game a lot. I just didn't play it as much as I wanted to, but it seemed like a smaller, more accessible Libertalia, and it was, but the group of people that I imagined I'd play it with and thought I'd play it a lot with still didn't really want to play it, so it kind of walks the line of being not too easy and not too complicated. So if we're looking for something small and light with a group that's not necessarily gamers, then we don't really want to play that one because it's a little too thinky, so we ended up playing something just a little smaller. Next up, Sky Teams. Yeah, I know that everybody really likes Sky Teams. I like Sky Teams. I don't know if it was just overhyped for me, but I played it, and I felt the same way that I felt with this game as I did when I played Turing Machine. I knew that it was a game that I would like, and I knew that there was nothing wrong with it. Objectively, it's a great game, but there's something about just like these short games with no communication. Like me and Paul, we were playing it, and there's different scenarios and there's a lot of variability. It's not that we ran out of things to do, but every time I think about this game and wanting to play it, I feel like I've done it already. No matter how many modules I put in there, it still feels like I'm doing the same things. And I didn't get too much out of it. I didn't really want to explore the other modules. It was just finding ways to make the general experience different, but the general experience is still 80% of the gameplay, so I didn't get as much excitement out of it as I thought, and the games were short, which is nice, but again, if I want to play something short and thinky, I have some other options. Next is Curious Cargo. This one's going because I didn't like it. It's another two-player game. It's a small box. It's really complex, and the strategy's good, but it wasn't satisfying. I just kind of felt like my brain was just turning gears, and I'm not sure I got that much out of that gear turning. I felt like the person I was playing with, they weren't taking it as seriously, and I don't remember if they did better or worse, but we were neck and neck, and I felt like I was thinking too much, and I was just thinking about what I was doing wrong and what I was doing right, and it just wasn't fun. I didn't feel satisfied by what I was doing. I just was stressed about doing it. So I think this would be good for somebody who really likes those really thinky games and maybe is just smarter than me and can figure out the strategy a little better than I can and appreciate it better than I could. Next is Rolling Realms. This one's going. I don't really have a good reason why this is going. I just don't play it that much. I think it's great. I think it's great for what it is. I didn't play it quite enough where I knew all the minigames like that well, so every time I took it out, I'd have to refresh myself on what the minigame was. It's a little roll and write with a bunch of minigames, and all of them were good. None of them really stuck out to me as like, oh, I really like that one, I want to play this one again. So I didn't play it that much, and because I don't play it that much, I kind of have to relearn it every time I play it, and yeah, that's just not too convenient for me all the time, so I'm gonna get rid of Rolling Realms. I hope somebody really enjoys this game though, because it's cute and it's good at what it does, but just not for me. Next up is an interesting game. It's called Paper Tales. I don't really know exactly what I would describe it. It's a card game, and it's just really, the rules are kind of bad. To learn this game, I downloaded the app and I played the app. It's like a resource management and tableau building game, but it just wasn't fun to me. I understood the why people like it. You're trying to like really combo these cards off of each other, but I played Veil of Eternity recently, and that really locked it in that I was like, okay, what Veil of Eternity gives me is what I thought Paper Tales was going to give me, and Paper Tales came out a while ago, so I understand why people, why this game got popular. It is a good game, but it just was too simple for me. There was not enough going on, and the card combinations wasn't complex enough, especially when you play a game like Veil of Eternity. It just feels like the combinations are endless, and it's fun, and it's easy to remember, it's streamlined, and this one was just a little too convoluted for me. Alright, this is Warp's Edge. This is a solo bag builder, and it's really cool. I really like it. Well, I really appreciate it. I don't know if I really like it that much. I don't know. I like solo variants of some games, but overall I'm not a solo gamer. So I got this, and I played it twice, and the variability was like the kind of ships you're fighting against, the kind of ships you're playing as, the bag building, like the luck element of it, and it's fun. And I recommended this game to somebody who plays a lot of solo games because it's fun and it's good, but solo games aren't necessarily for me. And if I'm playing a solo game, I think there's other solo variants of some Euro games that I'd like to play. This one just felt a little too swingy for me. All right, next up, this one breaks my heart actually. This is Mind MGMT, baby. The Kickstarter deluxe version of it. So it has all the beauties, all the wood pieces, all the inserts, all the nice cards, everything. And this one, this is one of those games that I love, and I love the art, I love the type of game, I like the gameplay, but I just can't find people to play it with. As you play it, you can add modules based on who won and who lost. It's a one versus all hidden movement game, and I don't know, I couldn't get people to play it enough to introduce those new modules to it, so the game never really changed for me. I feel like I played the intro scenario 5 times probably. I played one of the variations, like the next step, I forget what they're called, but I played one of those, and it was cool, and I wanted to play more, but my group never wanted to play it, so it's going. I'm so sad. I backed it because it looked cool, and it is cool, and I don't know, I never got to experience it fully, so this is a game that I would still recommend if you have people to play with. It's beautiful, and I know that when I get rid of it, it's probably going to go into someone's hands who will appreciate it a lot more than I did, so I think it's time that I part with it. It's just been sitting on my shelf as like a pretty piece for a while, so it's probably time for it to go, which is sad. This one also makes me sad. This is Endangered. Rawr. It's a co-op game, worker placement. You're saving animals or endangered species from all these different situations, and it's really cool actually. The way you play cards, you have cards in your hand that you put out on the board, and they can be like instant effects, or they can be new worker spots for people to go to. There's a lot of money management, and how you win the game is like, it's a surprise. There's these cards at the top of the board that you can put progress tokens on, and they'll flip over, and you're like, oh man, we need to get a bunch of money. We weren't going for money, we were going for saving animals, we were going for putting out worker spots, or going for this, and there's just these objectives that reveal themselves throughout the game. And the theme is really cool, like, you're saving animals, so I'm already invested, and I'm like, I need to win, because if I lose, I don't save the animals. So it just feels good, and it was addicting, and I played it a lot, I think 10 times maybe. So I got a lot out of it, and there's a lot of modules for this that you can buy, a lot of expansions. I just have the base. Yeah, I just have the base game. For some reason I thought I had an expansion maybe, but I don't. So I played the base game. There's the otters and the tigers, and played it a lot, saved them. That's it. I did it a lot, and I liked it, and I think somebody else should play it now, because it's just on the shelf, and I'm like, whenever a cooperative game comes up, it doesn't come to mind anymore, because I've just played it a lot. And right now I'm more in like a Let's Play Massive Darkness, or I just got Ghost Stories, so I'm like more inclined to play that, or Unmatched Tales to Amaze is really fun. So it's just a co-op game that's puzzle I've solved many times, and you know, sometimes I still lose. It's not that it's easy, but you know, it just feels like I've done it, so I'm gonna give it away, and hopefully somebody else can enjoy it. we have the two Micro Macro games, Micro Macro Crime City and Micro Macro Full House. It's kind of the same thing. These are great games, and I think everyone should try these because they're really fun. But for me, they just... I played them a lot. I played them a lot with like my younger cousins and my family. There are some scenarios that like some people had done and some people hadn't done because I played it with a bunch of different groups. So I was like, okay, which scenario has nobody done? And sometimes it's hard to find. So sometimes like, oh, well, I know you guys have done this one, but these people haven't. So just like, we'll just play with them for now, or I don't know. For some reason, there's something that really bothers me about this game, and it's like nothing against the art. I know it's just me, but I'm one of those people who just can't read upside down. Like it's just really hard for me. So in this game, it's like a Where's Waldo map, but it's all black and white line art. So when you're looking at it at the table and you're upside down, for me, it's really hard to see anything but like general shapes. And this game has you look for really specific details, and I just can't make it out. So I've gotten like 5 headaches from this game, and I was just like, okay, I don't think I want to play this anymore. I've gotten my fun out of it. So I'm just gonna pass it on. It's a cool game. Once you've played through the whole thing, you don't really play it anymore unless you're just trying to game master it. But yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that one. I hope it goes to like a cool group, maybe a family. It's really fun family game. Well, my family, nobody's that young. There's kind of a lot of crime and murder in it, so not like kids' family games. But you know, like teenagers and stuff. It's really good. This one's interesting. This is Art Decko. Art Decko is a game. It's a deck building economy game, and I really like modern art. So I was really excited about this because it's a deck builder, and you're buying new paintings and putting them in museums. And whenever you buy paintings, the demand for that artist goes up, or that type of painting. So it's like a big economy game, and the paintings that are being bought and put in museums drastically change what those paintings are worth, and you can use those paintings as money to buy more paintings or put paintings in museums, and those all give you victory points. And at the end of the game, it's a combination of, you know, the victory points you have and the money that you have, and that money can come from money cards, but most of it comes from your paintings that you have, which, like I said, throughout the game, they change in value based on the demand and what's selling. It's really cool, and I really liked it. When I played it like 5 times, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And this was kind of at the beginning when I was starting to collect board games. But I played it recently, and I don't know what it was, but I was so bored, and everyone at the table was so bored. I felt like the game was just really swingy, it was hard to track, and everyone was just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. It just took a long time, and nobody was having fun, and we all were like, we should have just played modern art, and I agree. So, I don't know, this last time I played it just didn't hit, and I definitely don't want to play it again. So maybe he just got burnt out, so hopefully the next person that gets it will like it more than me. Next, we have War of the Ring, the card game. Okay, so I got this one for Paul as a gift because he loves Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings. I wouldn't say I'm like a Lord of the Rings person. I don't know. Fandoms are weird. But we got it because I knew of War of the Ring, and I was like, oh man, this is good because it's smaller and it's not as intimidating. But it is as intimidating, and we got it. We played it, and we were like, okay, that was kind of hard to learn. So we're like, let's play it again the next day. So we played it. Obviously, it was easier to learn. We didn't enjoy it much more. Like, we were more excited to see the art on the cards and be like, oh my gosh, I have Aragorn, that's so sick. But then sometimes you have to discard Aragorn and he's gone for the whole game. Like, you just get rid of cards permanently from your deck and they're just gone. And sometimes they're dead, and sometimes it's like a payment and they're just out of the game. And we were like, oh man, I really wanted to play Gandalf this game. I guess I'm not, so this game's gonna be 3 hours long, 2 hours maybe, and I'm not gonna play with the character I wanted to play with. So I guess I'll just have to hopefully get him next time. It wasn't thematic enough other than the art. So we kept it because it was like, oh, it was a gift, and it was good, but we didn't really enjoy it that much. Maybe we were just missing something, let's try it again. And then I saw War of the Ring 2nd edition, like the actual big game, and I got that, and we played it, and it was like, oh, this is way better. This feels like we're in Lord of the Rings. This feels awesome. Even though War of the Ring takes like 6 hours or more. It's still just, it was worth it. Like, it felt like we were playing Lord of the Rings. The rules were complex and we spent a long time learning them, but it was all worth it. And this one didn't feel worth it. It was like, oh, we're taking the time to learn these rules that are complicated and like not really getting that much out of it. And when we played the big War of the Ring, yeah, like I said, it was just, I wouldn't pick this one. Next up, Challengers. Challengers is a really cool game. It's like war, kind of. It is war, but with drafting and powers. It's cool, and I liked it, and I think it's worth the price. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there, but it was just kind of like hard to teach a big group of people because I don't play with big groups of gamer friends. Like, my gamer group is 4 people, maybe 5, and that's not a good game for that size. So with my family, which was like 8 people, it was cool, and we played it, and we got some of the rules wrong, and it didn't really matter. We were still having fun. But yeah, we got what we wanted out of it. We got like 4 game days out of it with the whole family, and they were like, okay, that was fun. And you could tell by the end they were like familiar with it, and some people still didn't get everything. It's like family friendly plus, I would say. I think it has a really good niche that it fits into, but I think I played it enough with the group that I would play it with, and I don't really want to play it again. So it's going. Okay, this one, the Hansa Teutonica big box. This is one that I like don't want to get rid of it because it's a really good game. It's an area control, very interactive, very high strategy, high tactical Euro game, and we played it with our like regular game group of friends, and some of them are really good at games like that, but I really wasn't, and I could tell that some people picked up on it right away, some people didn't, aka me, and I could tell that you had to play it a lot, and there would be like this meta that formed that would be really good. So if you play it a lot with the same group, it could be super competitive and you can see what's coming, but for me, I just didn't pick up on it right away, and my gaming group likes to play a bunch of different games, so this is one that I don't think we'd come back to, but we might. So it's kind of just personal preference of like, I don't know if I want to play it again, and if I don't really want to play it again, then it probably won't get played that much in order to develop that cool meta. So it's going. If it doesn't sell, I would gladly keep it because it's really good. But it's just like I said, the frequency that it needs to be played to develop that meta it's just not something that I think my gaming group is capable of. So it's gonna head out. All right, next up we have King of 12. This is a game where you roll die and play cards, and you're trying to end up with the highest die value at the end of the round. The cards that you play, they do a bunch of things like let you change the number on your die, switch it from being the lowest number wins for that round. There's a bunch of things you can do in this game, but overall, I think it's kind of one of the same thing as Hansa Teutonica, where I feel like you'd have to play it a lot in order to really develop that meta and be able to predict what other people are going to play. But in the amount of times we played it, everything just kind of felt random and like, oh, you played the same card as me, I wouldn't have known you were going to do that. And it just didn't hit with us enough to want to play it multiple times in order to get to that meta. So it's a good one though, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not going to make it this time. Next up is Trickdraw. I don't really have much to say about this game. We played it, and everybody, when it ended, was just like, okay. And we put it away, and I haven't thought about it since, and I don't even really remember all that went into it. But it's very simple. Seems like it'd be good for a group of people that maybe don't play a lot of games. Pretty easy to understand. Yeah, I didn't care about this game. The next one is a very popular game called Flamecraft. Everybody loves Flamecraft. It's so cute. There are cute dragons, you're running shops, it's a worker placement game, it's a great entry level, well, I'll get back to that. It's a great worker placement game, resource management, contract fulfillment. It's so cool. I like the puns, the art is amazing. I just played it a lot. I've played it a lot of times with different groups of people, and I enjoyed it. I taught it a lot of times. It was a lot of to a lot of different groups of people, and it went well. There was a little bit of a learning curve. People describe it as a very good entry game. I don't know, I think there's a lot going on, especially the fact that all the shops do different things, that I wouldn't consider it an entry-level game. I would consider it a light game, but I still don't think it's a great game to show people who don't play a lot of board games. I still think it's a little complex, but I like it. I like it a lot. I'm honestly just getting rid of it because I've played it so much, and I don't think I'm going to show it to new people, and it's kind of a game that I just would rather play heavier worker placement games if I'm going to play a game that's going to last as long as that one. So it's just not going to make it, but I highly recommend trying it. The art is really nice, and it's just really cozy. So that's Flamecraft. This one, Red Rising, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to get rid of this one or not. I used to have this game. I got rid of it. It was gifted to me again because I love the book series, and I really like Fantasy Realms, and that's just Fantasy Realms Plus. You're developing a hand throughout the game and trying to make the most synergies and trying to get points that way. And it's based on the book Red Rising. It's not thematic, but it has a lot of artistic or art depictions of characters in the books, so it's just fun to see, like, oh yeah, Servo works well with, oh my gosh, the main character. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of cool things going on in that game, and as someone who's a big fan of the books, I just might not get rid of it just for that reason. Most of the time, if I want to play that, I'm just gonna play Fantasy Realms just because it's shorter. The game is good. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't know if I'm gonna no, I'm probably gonna keep that one. I don't know. The hard part is that it's a big box for how simplistic it is. And just like compared to Fantasy Realms, it's like overly complex, and I don't know if I think that that added complexity is worth it, but to me, it kind of is because of the theme. So I don't know, but it might leave. We'll see. Next is this guy. This is Feed the Kraken. You might recognize this from another video I did, where I did an overview of it. Seems a little hypocritical of me to get rid of it, but I am, and that is because it is a great social deduction game, but it is on the heavier side. But that doesn't, it's not even that bad. I played it with my family who doesn't play a lot of games. But there's just like an added layer to it that I think the people that I play social deduction games with would rather play something simpler and something shorter. I would keep it just because I like it so much, even though I'll probably never play it. But I don't know, I just kind of think that it's worth giving to somebody who has a group that will play it more than I will, because it's just sitting on my shelf, and I want to play it all the time, but I can't just play it with Paul or like a couple friends. It has to be a big group of people, and like I said, normally if I have a big group like that, we're going to play something shorter, like Night of the Ninja or just any other party game, probably not that one. And I don't know, sometimes with social deduction games, if there's a lot of rules, then sometimes it's hard for people to lie about who they are because they don't know exactly what all there is to it. So they don't know how to lie, they don't know what to say, because there's all these other things going on. So sometimes it just makes the deduction part more complex and not the center focus of the game. So I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna miss it. I hope whoever gets it plays it a lot because it's really good. This is Kokopelli. If you can't tell, I really like all these games that I'm getting rid of. There's a reason I have them, but most of them I'm getting rid of because I don't play them, and I'm mostly here to just explain why I don't play them, not why I don't like them. But Kokopelli, it was this game that I really wanted since I live in New Mexico, and the theme was just, it felt homely to me, and it's by Stefan Feld, and it was a card game. And I like the way it plays. I've played it many times. I don't know, I think there's something that happened with the production of the game, specifically the translation of it. The rulebook is hard to understand. There's a lot of like little questions that we have that aren't answered in the rulebooks. We kind of have to house rule some things, like specifically with the 2-player. There's a lot of cards that don't really make sense on how they'd work with 2 players, and the rulebook doesn't specify how that works. And the cards, they don't have a description, like a good description of what they do. and they use these like this symbology that if you study it, sure, it'll make sense, but I don't want to study it. So every time I pull out this game, it just feels like relearning what all these symbols and all these cards do for a game that shouldn't be like that. Like, I don't know, if they ever print this game again, and like, I hope they don't retheme it, but if they ever do like a second edition where it's easier to understand and there's like a good reference card, better than what's in there, because the one that's in there also, I don't know. There's something about it that I wish it was more intuitive to understand what the cards do, and it's a little too abstracted. But the gameplay is really good. Once you get going, it's really good, but it's kind of a chore to get it out and remember what all the cards do in order to fully enjoy it. So normally if you play it once, you play it again, and the second time you play it, it's really good, but the first time is kind of clunky. So Kokopelli is going to go, but I'm really sad about it. And if it doesn't sell, I wouldn't be sad about it because I do like it. Okay, here's another one. This is Evacuation. This is another game that I've talked about on this channel. I unboxed it. I was really excited about it, and I'm not excited about it anymore. I did not like that game. I really thought I would. It seemed like everything that I would like. It was by the same designer as Woodcraft, Vladimir Suki. It's space themed. The whole art style is really cool. I like the idea of like evacuating a planet that's definitely Earth and going to a different planet. And I liked all the mechanisms, and I liked how they worked together, and I understood it quickly. The rulebook was great, but I just didn't like the gameplay. I don't know, I felt this is one of those games that, like, you know that it's designed really well and everything's so meticulously done, but it's just too tight. Like, the gameplay was just too punishing, and normally I like it when a game ends and you're like, oh man, I wish I had one more turn, then I could have felt like I did something and like done it correctly. This game, it was like, dang, I wish I had 5 more turns because I feel like I didn't do anything. And I just didn't like feeling that way. Like, when the game was over, I was like, I don't know what I did wrong, but I did horribly. And that's definitely me, and maybe that's calling me out a little bit, that I'm not as great as games as I should be considering how many that I have. But I was really bad at this game, and I felt like it was because the game was designed to punish you, and I didn't like that feeling. And I know that some people will probably love that because they love the challenge, but I don't. I like to develop a strategy based on, you know, information that's given to me based on when I play it. So when I play it, I'm like, oh, I know what I can do next time. I didn't feel like that on this one. I feel like I didn't have enough time to figure out what I should be doing. So I don't know, it just kind of beat me down, and I didn't feel good about it. And I tried it multiple times, and I never got this, like, I never fell into the rhythm of this game. So I hope that a person who loves the pain gets this game and learns to master it, but I did not. Next up, Castles of Burgundy. Castles of Burgundy, this actually doesn't really count. It's leaving because I have the special edition from Awaken Realms. I love this game. This is in my top 5 games for sure. But I have the deluxe edition. And if you have the deluxe edition, you definitely don't need that one. So that one doesn't really count, but it's leaving, so I thought I'd show it to you. Next, this is Role Player. I think everything just fell out. But this game is actually really hard for me to get rid of. I'm still not sure, because this was one of the first 5 games that I bought when I started my collection, so it's very special to me. I have a 3D printed insert, I have the Monsters and Minions expansion, everything's sleeved. I wanted this game to be preserved because I liked it so much, but I just don't play it, and I don't know, I don't want to play it. Like, I played it so many times, the puzzle's the same. And I got the Monsters and Minions expansion because everyone said it was like great and it added so much, and like you build up your character and you fight this monster at the end, and you can fight these minions to get like special boons. But I felt like it convoluted the game, so I didn't like it that much, and I was kind of upset because I spent a lot of time trying to find the expansion. And when I found it, I was like, oh, this kind of makes the game messier. I just like the dice puzzle that the game is at its base. And I know I could play without the expansion, I don't know. It's hard for me to find bad things to say about this game because I love it. But yeah, I think you should check it out if you haven't. I think it's a classic. Call to Adventure. Call to Adventure. This is a game I'm getting rid of because I think it's bad. 2 more left. Alright, this is Whistle Mountain. Yay! This game is another one that I don't really want to get rid of, but I don't know. So there's like a certain point for me when like I respect a game so much, just like its design, and I know it's good, that I don't want to get rid of it, even though I don't play it. And this is definitely one of those. It's so cool. You're building a worker placement board. Like you buy these little scaffolding pieces, you put them on the board, you put your airships out, and it's just really cool. And when you're building up the worker spaces on the board, like, I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of this game. Like, as the memories are coming back, like when I first saw it on the shelf, I was like, oh yeah, I don't play that one, good game, but I'm gonna get rid of it. But as I'm like starting to explain that you put the scaffoldings out, to put worker spots out, you put your little blimps on the board, you can buy upgrades for you that give you special powers. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna keep Whistle Mountain. Yay! Whistle Mountain! Woo! Okay. They made a comeback. That's exciting. Okay, last is this one. Arborea. Ooh, look how pretty. I don't know if you can see it. Is it gonna do it? Look how pretty this is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I bought it. Well, I don't know. That's the main reason I bought it, because the art was so cool. And then I looked it up and it was like, oh, this is cool worker placement mechanism. I like worker placement games. But you like put it on this little slide and you slide down. It's like Chutes and Ladders, and you get to like fall and cascade and activate all these cool worker spots that give you resources. And you can spend those resources and do all kinds of things. And it's like a little card placement puzzle that you're doing to try and score points and recruit animals. Very cool. Sounds really cool. It still sounds cool. And I do think it's cool. But there's like a problem with the art is really good, but the production for me puts me back. The game isn't super accessible. And I don't like how the board is set up. The icons are really small. And like when I'm playing with other people are like, so where do I go to get this resource? And I'm like, oh, over here. I go like, oh, why? I'm like, I don't know. If you need something, you have to find it. Like, where's Waldo on this board? And then you have to get it and figure out what to do with it. And where's Waldo something else on this board? And it's just like hard to take in. There's a lot going on, and it feels unpredictable. And I just didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I feel like I keep on saying that with these games. I promise I know how to play board games. I play a lot of board games, but I don't know. This one, it's also kind of late, and I'm just kind of crashing a little bit. I don't know. I got this game because it's by Danny Garcia, and Barcelona is a game that I have that I really like, and Windmill Valley is his newest game, and I really like that one. And this one for me it felt too innovative. Like, it was like, my friend Nathan explained it as, when I was teaching it to him, he's like, I play a lot of board games, but I feel like this is how people feel when you teach them a board game and they don't play a lot of board games. Like, there's just like that overwhelming feeling of like, oh my gosh, so this connects to that, and this does this, and this does that, and it just like jumbles up in your head to the point where like you're just confused and you don't really know how to play it, so you just go through the motions and you're like, oh, I need that. Where is that? Oh, over here. Okay, I guess I'll do that. Oh, what was I doing? I'm gonna go back. I don't know. This game just felt like that. Like I just felt like I didn't play board games anymore. I was like, I don't know what's going on in this game at all. Like, I understand basic things like resource management, worker placement, but it all just worked together so, it was just so unfamiliar to me. So I didn't enjoy it that much, which makes me feel a little closed-minded, but I don't know. It is what it is. I think it's really cool, and I respect the designer, which is why I still bought Windmill Valley, his newest design. It's like, this guy's cool, and I respect him as a designer, and I like his games enough, including Arborea. I liked it enough, but not enough for me to go back to it, so I'm just not gonna make it. But anyways, that's all for this video. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you disagree with me, or if you have any suggestions for some of the games that I was like, about, like, I don't know why I don't like it. If there's other games that are similar, let me know. This is just a quick little video I tried to do. I don't know how long it's actually been. It might have been longer than I wanted to, but those 24 games we got through that are gonna get the boot from my collection, but most of them I still think are really good games. I just don't play them enough, and that's gonna be the case for a lot of them, except for some of them. Some of them I actually didn't like. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. I'm Antonio.